All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting now Unit 5, and Unit 5 is talking about factoring. In Unit 4, we talked about multiplying polynomials, and basically Unit 5 is exactly the opposite of that. When I think about factoring, I originally think of something like a fraction. Okay, so I think about like the fraction, say 6 over 9. And if I had the fraction 6 over 9, I would find the greatest common factor for the two numbers, right? Well, if you looked at the factors of 6, you'd have 1, 2, 3, and 6. And if you looked at 9, you'd have 1, 3, and 9. And so what you do is you find the greatest common factor of the two, right? And then you could divide those both by 3. And you would end up reducing it down to 2/3. Okay, so that's kind of the same idea here. What we're doing with polynomials now is we're trying to find the greatest common factor between multiple terms inside of our polynomials. Okay, well, if you look at your notes at page 1, at the very beginning of it, and if you hear any little chiming in the background, that's my dog running around, sorry. If you look right at the top of the page, it says, how many pairs of monomials can you find whose product is 16x to the fourth? So we have 16x to the fourth. Okay, and what they want you to do here is they want you to find all the different ways that you could multiply things together to get 16x to the fourth. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to actually kind of break it into the two parts. So what are all the different ways you can make 16? So you can do 1 times 16, you could do 2 times 8, you could do 4 times 4, right? Hopefully I didn't miss any there. No, that's good. Okay, to make x to the fourth, you could do x times x to the third, you could do x squared times x squared, right? So now all you do is you can just kind of put those together. So a couple options that you might have 1x times 16x to the third. You might have 1x squared times 16x squared. Okay, or you can see how this is kind of working, right? You can do 2x to the third times 8x. These are all different monomials that you could put together that all equal that 16x to the fourth. So these are all different factors of 16x to the fourth. Okay, and that's really what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to break down numbers into their little parts. And ultimately what we'll do is we'll find common factors between the different parts of our polynomial or our different terms, right? Okay, the next part right there says factor the monomial. Okay, and what we're going to do, we have 15x to the third, and basically they want you to do exactly what we just did. So if you broke it down, okay, into its factors, 15 could be 1 and 15, 3 and 5, right? That's 15. Now don't forget, okay, here's the part that's tricky, is that you could also do -1 times -15 and -3 times -5, right? Because if you multiply those together, those become a positive. So don't forget that you can also do the negatives. Okay, and to make x to the third, you could do x times x squared, you could do x squared times x, or you could just have an x to the third, right? Now, your possible factorizations, okay, you put those together basically, right? You can do 1x times, and we'll do it with parentheses, times 15x squared. That's one way to do it. You could do -1x times -15x squared. Now remember, when you're doing this, you wouldn't necessarily put the 1, right? We would just leave it would be -x or just x, right? You could have 3x to the third times 5. Okay, these are all different ways that we could put these together, right? So again, that's just factoring right there. And that's the basics to it. You find what all the different factors are, and you bring them out, and then you put them together in different ways, right? Okay, a couple more options to this. We might do negative 3x squared times negative 5x. Okay, all those still make that 15x to the third. Okay, at the bottom of page 1, there's a few try these, so go ahead and give those a shot. It says find 3 factorizations of each monomial. Alright, so now we're going to find 3 different factors for each one of these. Okay, so we have 8x to the fourth, so 8 can break down into 1 and 8 and 2 and 4, or negative 1, negative 8, and negative 2, negative 4. X to the fourth, you'd have x to the fourth, x to the third times x squared times x squared, and then you could flip them, right? So you could do x times x to the third. Alright, so 3 different ways of putting this together. Just pick any 3 you want. So we could do 2x to the third times 4x. If you multiply that together, that's correct. We could do we'll do negative x to the fourth times 8. And you could do negative 2x squared times negative 4x squared. Alright, so that's the basics to it. Okay, now for the next one, I'm not gonna do all the breaking it down. I'm just going to go ahead and write a couple. So 6 could be 1 and 6. So let's do 1, or just m to the fourth times 6m. So you multiply together, m to the fourth times m is m to the fifth with 6. There you go. We have 2m squared times 3m to the third. And then we're going to go negative 2m times negative 3m to the fourth power. Okay, so those are all 3 different options there. And then now, this one we have to be a little bit more careful, right? Because we have A's and we have B's. Now, there's nothing really different about it. It's the same thing, okay? So we've got 12. So let's do 4, and we'll do a to the third on this one. And then on the other one, we'll do 3b squared. Okay, so if we multiply that back together, 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, 4 times 3 is 12, and a cubed times b squared is a cubed b squared. Okay, so we're good there. Let's go negative 6 a squared b. Okay, so what are we missing? We're missing negative 2. We need another a, and we need another b. So there you go. And then finally the last one, let's go 12ab times, and we need just 1, so we don't need to put the 1 in there. We need 2 a's, so a squared, and we need 1 more b. Alright, so that's the first part of this, so hopefully you got it.